Belarus top exports and trading partners. Hello viewers, welcome to Big Man Business YouTube channel. Today, we're going to be talking about the top import and export commodities of Belarus. Belarus, Europe's most landlocked country, is expected to send $24.9 billion worth of commodities around the world in 2023. This figure represents a 5.6% gain from 2019 to 2020 but a minus 24.6% reduction from 2019 to 2020. Potassic fertilizers, processed petroleum oils, cheese and curd, sawn wood, and tractors are Belarus's top 5 exports. They account for over a quarter of the total expected value of international Belarusian shipments in 2023, which is 23.9%. If you're new to the Big Man Business YouTube channel, please subscribe and turn on the notification bell to receive updates on new business expert videos. For more international business news and updates, please visit www.bigmanbusiness.com. According to the most recent available country-specific data for 2020, importers in Russia accounts for 41.3% of the global total, Ukraine with 12.6%. The United Kingdom with 7%, Germany with 3.9%, Poland with 3.9% also, Lithuania with 3.2%, the Netherlands with 2.4%, Kazakhstan with 2.2%, China with 1.9%, Brazil with 1.8%, India with 1.2%, and Latvia purchased 82.6% of Belarus exports at 1.1%. On a continental level, 84.4% of Belarus exports were supplied to European countries, while 11.2% were sold to Asian importers. Belarus exported 2.4% of its total exports to Latin America, excluding Mexico, but including the Caribbean. Africa with 1.1%. North America with 0.7%, and Oceania headed by New Zealand and Australia received even lower percentages of 0.2%. With a population of 9.5 million people, Belarus' total exports of $21.7 billion in 2020 equate to nearly $2,300 for each citizen of the Eastern European country. At the two-digit harmonized tariff system code level, the following export product groups constitute the largest dollar value in Belarusian global shipments in 2020. The percentage proportion of each export category in terms of overall Belarus exports is also highlighted. Fertilizers are worth $2.5 billion, which represents 10.1% of total exports. $2.4 billion in mineral fuels, including oil, accounts for 9.6%. $2.3 billion in dairy, eggs, and honey accounts for 9.4%. $1.9 billion in vehicles accounts for 7.5%. $1.6 billion in wood accounts for 6.5%. $1.4 billion in machinery, including computers, accounts for 5.5%. $1 billion in electrical apparatus and equipment accounts for 4.2%. $993.9 million in plastics and plastic goods account for 4%. $863 million in iron and steel account for 3.5%. $785.4 million in meat account for 3.2%. Belarus' top 10 exports account for nearly 2/3 of the total value of its global shipments, which is 63.4%. The only main export categories from Belarus that grew from 2019 to 2020 were wood, which went up to 15%, and beef up to 0.2%. Mineral fuels, including oil, were the biggest loser among Belarus' top 10 export categories, with a minus 65% reduction year over year. Belarus' total exported goods account for 12.9% of the country's overall gross domestic product, GDP, valued at $192.6 billion in Purchasing Power Parity US dollars in 2020. In PPP terms, exports accounted for 12.9% of overall GDP in 2020, compared to 11.1% in 2019. Although based on a short duration, These measurements show that Belarus' entire economic performance is becoming increasingly reliant on products sold on international markets. The unemployment rate is another important measure of a country's economic performance. According to Trading Economics, average unemployment in Belarus is expected to be 0.6% in 2022, up from 0.2% a year earlier. Belarus's capital city is Minsk. Belarus top trading partners. Belarus exported $33.5 billion worth of goods worldwide in 2020. This amount represents about 0.19% of total world exports, which were estimated at $17.546 trillion a year ago. According to A Continental Perspective, 82% of Belarusian exports by value went to European countries, while 10.3% went to Asian importers. Belarus exported 2.5% of its total exports to Latin America, which includes the Caribbean but excludes Mexico. Importers from other continents received much lesser percentages, majorly Africa, North America, Oceania. Here is a list of 15 of Belarus' most important trading partners, the countries that imported the most Belarusian shipments in terms of dollar value in 2021. The percentage of total Belarusian exports for each import nation is also indicated. $12.9 billion from Russia accounts for 38.5% of total Belarusian exports. $4.1 billion from Ukraine accounts for 12.1%. The United Kingdom has a budget of $3.1 billion accounting for 9.2%. $1.4 billion in Germany accounting for 4.3%. $1.4 billion in the Netherlands accounting for 4.3%. $1.3 billion for Poland accounts for 4%. Lithuania is worth $1.2 billion valued at 3.4%. Kazakhstan has a budget of $780.1 million valued at 2.3%. Brazil, $585.1 million accounts for 1.7%. Latvia has a budget of $471.9 million accounting for 1.4%. $467.9 million in China accounts for 1.4%. $299 million in India accounts for 0.9%. $274.3 million in the United States accounts for 0.8%. $227.4 million in Indonesia accounts for 0.7%. Azerbaijan has a budget of $223.8 million valued at 0.7%. In 2020, the previously mentioned 15 trade partners accounted for nearly 9/10 or 85.8% of Belarusian exports. Azerbaijan boosted its purchases from Belarus at the fastest rate, with a value rise of 89.6% between 2017 and 2018. Indonesia increased its imports from Belarus by 71.9%, followed by Lithuania with 36%, Latvia with 34.7%, Brazil with 33.3%, and Kazakhstan with 33.3%, up by 32.7%. Thanks for watching this video. We are open to suggestions. Kindly drop your comments in the comment box and don't forget to subscribe to the Big Man Business YouTube channel. See you in the next video.